Africa. Africa. Mighty, ancient, beautiful Africa. Creator of the human being.
This is poet Amiri Baraka at one of his last readings in the fall of 2013 at Algira, a center for contemporary art in Newark, New Jersey. State of the Arts happened to be shooting a story there, and we decided to roll on Baraka, having featured him on the show many times over the years, and knowing we wouldn't regret having another recording of this master at work in our archive. He died on January 9th, 2014.
My brother the king sold me to the ghosts. My brother the king sold me to the ghosts. Obatala Shango, save me, save me, save me, save me. At the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean, there's a railroad made of human bones, black ivory. At the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean, there's a railroad made of human bones, black ivory, black ivory. Wade in the water. Wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Wise one, if you ever find yourself somewhere lost and surrounded by enemies who won't let you speak in your own language, who destroy your statues and instruments, who ban your boom ba boom, you're in trouble. They ban your boom ba boom, you're in deep, deep trouble. Probably take you several hundred years to get out. At the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean, there's a railroad made of human bones, black ivory, black ivory.
Newark was Baraka's hometown. He loved Newark, and Newark loved him back. In 2010, on his 76th birthday, we sat down with him just before he went on stage to kick off the first Geraldine R. Dodge Poetry Festival held in Newark.
My family came here in the 20s, but all my children in the schools here, we are real neighborhood people, and now my son Raz is a city councilman. He's also the principal of Central High School, and he's also a very fine poet, so that's another thing. He could read, he should be in this festival too, reading, But the people know that in this town. They know us because we've been here, for so long, I still meet people in this town that knew my parents, knew my grandparents. That's what home is, actually.
All over the world. We're going to begin this program with Amiri Baraka, who is 76 years old today. It is his birthday.
It's a poem for this city that I was born and raised in, Newark, the brick city, the third oldest city in the country. We've always excelled in the arts. It's called In Town. Do 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 do. Do, 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 do. Something in the way of things. Something that will quit and won't start. Something you know but can't stand, can't know, but get along with. Like death riding on top of the car, peering through the windshield for his cue. Something entirely fictitious and true that creeps across your path, hallooing your evil ways like they were yourself, passing yourself, not smiling. The dead guy you saw me talking to is your boss. I tried to put a spell on him, but his spirit is illiterate.
From the very beginning of the series, Amiri Baraka appeared on State of the Arts regularly, and our conversations with him were always potent and to the point. Here's a clip from 1983.
The real live popular poetry, people depend on that. They walk up and down the streets singing poetry every day. They keep their radios. You see the young brothers walking, and what they're doing are the rappers. They depend on poetry every day. It's just that that's a popular kind of poetry as opposed to, say, the kind of dead poetry that's not meant to be heard, that's used in the academies. So I think a lot of us try to draw a line between poetry that does have deep meaning, poetry that does have, say, political and social significance, but at the same time try to strike a popular kind of form so that we can reach more people.
When I was a little boy, you know how little it is. I was born in 1934, so when Roosevelt was the president in the 40s, I used to write him notes about how to win the war, you know, but I didn't know how to get it to him, so I would stuff him in the radio, one of those great big radios. And then by the time I was in the 7th grade, I started a newspaper, but it only had 10 copies because I had to write it out by hand, you know, so, and pass it out. But I knew then that I had something to say, and that's what it is. You have something to say, and you have to find a way to say it.
In the 1950s, after some time at Rutgers University, then Howard University, and then the United States Air Force, Baraka moved to Greenwich Village, where he thrived among the beat poets. His vivid, innovative, often humorous poetry was associated with the likes of Jack Kerouac and Allen Ginsberg, another Newark native. In the 60s, his work began to reflect a shift in his social and political consciousness. He defected from the beats, but continued writing poetry, plays, and music criticism, producing his now classic history of black music, Blues People, in 1963. It was the era of the civil rights movement. Baraka aligned himself with its more militant black nationalist branch. In 1965, emotionally and intellectually torn, he left his wife Hetty Cohen and their 2 children and moved to Harlem. There, he founded the Black Arts Repertory Theater, a touchstone of the Black Arts movement. Its guiding principle, black artists should break from the mainstream and create art on their own terms.
I remember reading this poem in the New Yorker magazine and saying, I could never do that. You know, I don't even know what they're talking about. Bird baths and trains to Connecticut and stuff like that. You know, looking out my window, I see Chinese restaurant, you know. So I said then to myself, I'm gonna have to write the poetry I can write. You know, I gotta write what I know about. I don't know about that stuff he's writing about. And I think that was a great revelation to me, that I understood that I did not have to be that kind of poet, you know. So the whole generation of people, whether it was the Beats or the Black Mountain poets or the Black Arts movement or the New York poets or the San Francisco poets, all of them were united around the fact of opposing academic poetry that tried to make us write like Englishmen, you know. And that was what united us, you see.
In 1966, he moved back to Newark. He married Amiri Baraka the following year, and they started a family. After the Newark riots of '67, Baraka found himself facing 3 years in prison for allegedly carrying an illegal weapon and resisting arrest. The sentence was eventually reversed. Baraka made headlines in 2002 when, during his time as Poet Laureate of New Jersey, he gave a public reading of his poem, Somebody Blew Up America, a torrent of riffs on the 9/11 attacks that delved into a laundry list of conspiracy theories and offended or scandalized many who heard or read it. The next day, Governor James E. McGreevey asked him to relinquish his post. When it became clear that Baraka would not step down, McGreevey and the state legislature resorted to eliminating the post altogether, and so Amiri Baraka became the last Poet Laureate of New Jersey. In response, his hometown declared him the Poet Laureate of the Newark Public School System, a title he may have cherished more than any other.
I want to write about what's going on in the world. When people ask me, why are you political? I say, should I be less political than Frederick Douglass or Du Bois or Zora Neale Hurston or Baldwin, you know, or Langston Hughes? No, the Afro-American literary tradition is political, and for obvious reasons. And that's what the whole political basis of the Afro-American poetry is, the fact that the world is not enough. The way it is, it's not enough. It has to be better than this. It has to be different from this, you know.
At the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean, there's a railroad made of human bones, like ivory, like ivory.